So let's jump into chapter 47. Taylor already alluded to this portion. This had to have been a beautiful moment for Ezekiel to see. Starting in verse 1. Afterward, he brought me again unto the door of the house, and behold, waters issued out from under the threshold of the house eastward. For the forefront of the house stood toward the east, and the waters came down from under the right side of the house at the south side of the altar. So he's sitting there watching as if, what is this? He's never seen water coming out from what would be the holy place, that door on the east, and as it comes out by the altar, and it's going to flow to the east. So you'll notice the temple, the actual sanctuary is here on Mount Moriah with the Holy of Holies and the holy place. And so you get this water coming out towards the east, because this is north. This is the Kidron Valley. Right over here is the garden called Gethsemane, by the way, just to orient you. So there's water that comes out from the east, and it's going to flow. Well, Mount of Olives is up here, so the water is going to flow down this Kidron Valley into the Wadi Kidron, which eventually is going to take it into the Dead Sea. That's where all this water is going to end up, right? And if you've ever been to the Dead Sea or down to Qumran or into the Jordan River Valley down there by Jericho, it's pretty dry and desolate, and not a lot grows there. So with that understanding, watch what happens with this water. So starting in verse 3, as we pick this up, when the man that had the line in his hand went forth eastward, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he brought me through the waters, and the waters were to the ankles. So there's your first measurement. He measured again 1,000, and he brought me through the waters, and they were now to the knees. Then he measured a third time. Now they're to the loins. Verse 5. Afterward he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass over, for the waters were risen, waters to swim in, a river that could not be passed over. Interesting. So it started as a little trickle, and then it's up to the ankles, and then the knees, and then it gets up to the point where it's such a big river, he can't swim over it. Well, what happens? Verse 8, then said he unto me, these waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go out into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the waters shall be healed. Brothers and sisters, if anyone ever offers you a free fishing excursion to the Dead Sea, don't take them up on it. It's a fraud. Nothing lives in the Dead Sea. It is so salty. There's nothing like it on planet Earth as far as that size of a body of water. There's nothing that can live there. It's so salty. And notice what he just said. These waters are going to be healed. I wonder if the Lord is sharing yet another analogy, very similar to the Valley of the Dry Bones, but he's teaching using a different symbol that maybe will connect with people differently than the Valley of the Dry Bones did. It's that idea of that which is completely dead. There's nothing there. There's nothing living in it, can actually have a hope of a new life, of a new spirit, that it can bring forth in abundance. Look at verse 10. It shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it from En-gedi even unto En-eglaim. They shall be a place to spread forth nets. Their fish shall be according to their kinds, as the fish of the great sea, exceeding many. So we're taking that which has nothing, no fish in it, and now it's going to bring forth abundantly. I love this idea as you consider the motif carrying us through here of the gathering of the lost and scattered tribes of Israel. Those who don't have life, we bring them in, and you'll notice, where does it all start? In the temple, where the presence of God has returned back in 43, Holy of Holies. It's the glory of God coming out, and it started with a trickle, and it ends up with a river that you can't even swim over. Sounds a little bit like you could apply that at one level of symbolism to the restoration of the gospel in the latter days. That it started so small, it started so simple, that it was just this little stream up to your ankles. And the Lord God of Israel is going to continue to do his work, this gathering effort on both sides of the veil. And by the way, this is the veil of the temple right there, separating the holy place from the Holy of Holies. I love the analogy of any effort you and I put into helping anyone get onto the covenant path and keep those covenants is helping the Lord to gather Israel on both sides of the veil. I just love this chapter and the newness of life that God promises to bring to that which is dead.